and it is 6:03. And tonight, we will be going over the highway. So we would do the DPW and everything that comes with the DPW.
Which is a lot.
And we do have, as far as the minutes go, I looked, and it seems like the last one we had was, we approved all the way through 2/11. I just got 2/25, but it hasn't gone around yet, and he hasn't finished 3, I think. So anyways, there's some more coming, and I'll have probably a few to give you next time, but they're still working on them. I just want to also mention, before we jump into this, a meeting that I found out about, if you want to go. It will be August 16th, not August, sorry,
You can't think August?
no,
Okay.
April 16th. It is the Mass Municipal Association. It's their, they'll be doing a presentation, a little bit of their regional meeting here at the Council on Aging. And it's from April 16th from 5 to 7. It was very informative last year.
Where is it?
Right here. In
It's the same
same group.
thing?
5
Yep.
to 7?
Yep.
I've been hoping I could fit more meetings into my schedule.
Well, this one is not
That was
really
a
us.
busy day.
You don't have to, it's just interesting, it's very informative, we won't be voting on anything, it's not really us doing discussion, it's us just listening to what they have to present to us.
Now, is this the state, is this the
The
other?
state, but it's a more of a regional thing, so it'll have, all the other towns will be there.
Is that the meeting that Andy and I went to for the finance committee of all the other towns that had that little,
Sounds like it.
that
Yeah.
had that
That was
meeting
all
that
right.
Andy and I
Yeah.
went to last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a STAM meeting, Mike?
I don't know if it's a STAM meeting. I know that a lot of the STAM members will be there.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you know to put it, I thought it was great last year, put it on your calendar if you can.
It was helpful.
Yeah, okay. The other thing, really quick before we jump into budgets, I just want to jump to the liaison and committees. Just because they're gonna be having a ambulance committee meeting coming up April 6th. So I want to come off of that committee, and I want to nominate Pam to go on to that committee. And if we could vote on that, that would be great.
I'll second that.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. So that will happen. We do have the bylaw committee, that will be coming up because Jim Maximowski just sent me an email. But that's during the day. It's during the day at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. Pam was gonna do that one, but unfortunately, being that early. I have, that one I did do before, there's not that many meetings left, but, before they accomplish their goal. But if anybody wants to do that, please let me know. If you don't, I will be happy to just finish it up.
So it's a member being on it's just viewing the
It's all
bylaw committee?
Zoom.
No, you go, they hold them at the firehouse, the North Hadley Firehouse Station, and it is, they go through it's not the zoning bylaws, it's just the general bylaws.
Like the sidewalk one, they had to rewrite that bylaw,
Yeah.
the general bylaw.
Yeah, or when the chickens are too loud, or the roosters, and you want a noise bylaw, or.
And it means daytimes, which is sometimes.
But the problem is they
can't
meet
do it.
at like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Don't they work?
That is work.
Well, most of them are employees that are there, so that's during hours. So I wanted just to throw that out. Yeah, that in,
What day was that on?
in CPA, I got something from Mary Thayer. I need to have someone, because Andy was CPA.
What was the date on that bylaw?
The bylaw,
Meeting? Was there a certain date on that?
it's Tuesday. Yep, I can give you exactly, because I just got a message from Jim. Jim is the chair on that, and he says it is, which Tuesday? I think it's the second Tuesday. Let's see. Jim says, oh, the third Tuesday of each month at 9 a.m. at the North Hadley Fire Station. They said he only,
That should be the 17th.
yeah, he only expects or hopes that they'll only have a few more meetings and then be done with the assignment. And it's monthly, the third Tuesday, yeah. Is that, you want to do that, Peter?
I don't know, well, 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Not that I don't want to, it's, you know, with work and
Yeah.
9 o'clock to me is in the middle of the day.
You know, I could maybe do it. I've got an 8 o'clock meeting though, with another committee with New Hampshire Franklin, Linda, that I'm on the program committee. And if we're done, I don't know how long we go, but
Is that March 17th or April 17th?
I could try to do
That
that.
right there, because
Yeah.
that'd be, if it's.
If I'm out of that
So
meeting.
it's the Tuesday,
Or I could show up
1, 2,
late to
3,
it anyway,
March,
not or
March
It's
17th.
not a big deal.
So that's coming soon.
That's.
So do you want me,
this
I don't know,
coming
do you want me to put you on or no?
Yeah, I'll try to do it. but
Okay,
Let them know I may be late.
okay.
Depends on how long my 8 AM meeting goes.
So you think, because this is at the North Hadley.
That's a long trip for me though, from the house.
I know.
Yeah, very long. Yeah, it's so far away. Okay, so I'm gonna, I make a motion that Paul, goes on that bylaw committee meeting. I mean, joins that as the finance person. Second that? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, I'll send that email, Paul, Pam, and Paul. Oh, and then Mary asked me too. I got emails.
We'll get to you, Scott.
Anybody want, CPA?
How often does that meet?
CPA is twice, let's see, it is usually 2 times before the fall and 2 to 3 times before each meeting, before the annual, and 2 to 3 times before the fall. It's usually always on a Monday, at least they were, on Mondays, and it's at night. But sometimes they do Zoom, Peter.
I can't stand Zoom.
I think I don't know if they still do it, but they were doing it, Zoom.
I cannot stand Zoom.
If you don't want, I get it.
I will let you know on that one.
Okay.
I'll let you know. In this.
Well, why don't we do this? Because they always ask too for someone to, as a backing.
Right.
So if you want to take that on, I would be happy to be the sub. Or vice versa if you want to do it either way.
Right.
That way we can put in a vote. And then if you don't want it, if you can't do it, I'll just do it.
I'll be the sub.
You want to be the
I'll
sub?
be the sub. I mean, I'm already going to the planning, so it's like.
Okay,
Um,
okay, so,
Make a motion that Amy will be the liaison for the CPA with Peter as a sub,
okay.
moving forward. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, thanks. Oh, and you know what I didn't do for the camera? I didn't introduce everybody. Sorry.
Go for it.
Just meant to do that, and I jumped into the meeting so quickly. And tonight, we do have everyone here. Gage Spanknebel is our intern, myself, Amy Fiden, Pam Hegg, we have Peter Matusko, and Harry Vondolowski, and we have Paul McCretsky, just for the record. All right, so now the rest of the meeting is all about Scott. Have at it, Scott.
Where would you like to start?
You tell us.
Page,
Let's go in order.
37 is,
Page 37.
37 is Public Works and Snow and Ice.
Oh, that's a good place to start.
It can only get better than that, actually.
Obviously, this was a pretty bad year. We went out. We had 24 events so far. We went out. So yeah, we're way over budget, material wise, labor, subcontract, the whole entire thing is over. I think the maintenance line might be the only one that's in line, but everything else is over. I talked to Linda about, forget what you said, Linda, but you looked back when this number has changed, and it hasn't been upped in a
No,
long time.
That's right, we have not increased it for a while, we also haven't needed to increase it for a while. We were under budget for a few years running then, and so, this is a unique budget, and it's the only budget that is allowed to overspend without penalty. We have to do the snow and ice. Being allowed to overspend, however, doesn't mean it's free. It's not like the state's gonna the state allows you to do it, but they're allowing you to, then you have to fix it up later. So it could get fixed at town meeting. It could get fixed, as has happened in the past. Let's say another budget has the excess funds to move into it. It can get moved over from another budget at the very end of the year, the last 4 to 6 weeks, I think, at the end of the year. The Select Board and Finance Committee can vote to move funds around within the total budget to cover some of these deficits. So yes, it hasn't been moved up for a while. We certainly did, last year we ran over, and basing it on prior years more than this one, what I call a very fluky winter last year, I thought, well, that happened once, but we'll be back to normal, and that's not the case. So we will definitely need to raise that for next year, because we don't look like we're taking advantage, we don't want to seem like we're taking advantage of it. Also, we don't want to leave the town short by spending the money in another area when we know we need it here. So last year we did run over, it was close to it's between $80,000 and $100,000 I ran over last year, and we were able to cover it from another source. But this year, I just printed a report, we came over, and we're over by $53,000 already, and Scott said
How much?
$53,000, and Scott says he put in another request for $8,000 to pay a bill today. So that's over 60. And if that's the end of it, that's better than last year. If it isn't, they're
I got a question
We'll
for
deal with
both you and Scott, the same question really. When I was treasurer up in Greenfield, if we had some tougher winters, every so often the state would help, not with everything, but they'd do a little partial reimbursement, and I just wondered, is there any talk about that?
There is talk. I was working with Chief Spictable on the blizzard.
Mhm.
They're not sure if the western part of the state's gonna meet the threshold. Obviously the Cape and out there, they're getting some money on that, but it's still in the process of figuring out how much money was spent out here on it, and et cetera. So, but that's the only thing right now, and it's a big maybe. They don't think it's gonna come through, but they're
For
looking
Western
into it.
Mass or for the entire
Western.
state?
It's like broken down into section,
They got more snow than we
counties
did,
and
but
things like that.
Yeah.
we still were dumped
Yeah.
Leave us out in the cold.
Yeah.
again, still.
But yeah, they're looking at it, so I'm gonna probably say no on that, but there is a little hope, I guess.
Small glimmer.
Small, yeah. Just one other thing I'd like to just say, years past, like, this time of year, we made some decisions on upcoming weather and bringing more salt in and what have you. And obviously this year, with our financial situation, we're bringing in more salt at a very minimal. Just starting off next year, you're gonna start in a deficit right off the bat to fill that salt shed to get ready for winter. In the prior years, we started off with material. Next year, we're gonna start off with, very little. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Why was this year less than last year, considering there's so much more snow this year?
Well, it depends on the type of type of storm and everything, there's a lot of factors into it. And I thought we were over a lot more on that, Linda.
We had that one ice storm where it was about an inch and none of the stores had any rock salt or anything. So it was like 3 or 4 days of them having to throw out salt. It was like.
This year or
Last year, there was almost about a 3/4 of an inch of ice.
That's
And
where
it
more
just,
icy.
it killed
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So there might have been a March.
And that's,
There's
that
more
was a
ice
different.
than
yeah.
snow.
It was more ice
Now
than
there's more
snow.
Snow than ice, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
there's
what
a
it
lot of
was.
factors that go with it.
Okay,
But yeah, so last year there was a lot more ice. The February was like ice, it seemed like every other day. Like this year, we did have some ice, but we had a lot more snow. It's an inch of snow or whatever cost us more to deal with than 8. Just the way it goes. You know, sometimes the bigger storms, they cost us less money to handle, you know, to do the process. You know, depending what the situation is. You start getting ice and, you know, sleet and things of that nature, it just takes a lot more material to manage what's going on. And then, and material costs too, I looked today, last year, salt was $80 a ton, low on our first bid, secondary was higher. This year, our first bid is 103, and the secondary is more, so, you know, just take that in consideration too, when this goes back out to bid again. You know, right now, price of fuel and everything's very high, and all that comes into the equation with that, so just be prepared for, you know, potentially even higher costs.
Did you say before subcontracting out the work? So, is that what you meant by, because I've seen Mohawk
Yeah.
plowing.
Yep.
My question is why do we have Mohawk plowing our roads when we have DPW, water and sewer guys? Aren't they coming out? Isn't that their job to be coming out and
It
plowing
depends, it
snow?
depends on the snowstorm. Sometimes we have a full crew of people, sometimes we don't. And that's part of the situation, you know. I know the superintendent, you know, people, residents want schools to be open and things of that nature. That all takes manpower to do. And if we don't have it, if the crew, you know, people are out or not available, etc. We lost 2 guys with the layoffs, so that adds up. So there's 64 miles of paved roads here plus the dirts we have to contend with, you know,
so if you have a
minimal
full
people.
crew, how many you have out?
Uh, 13,
Okay,
Knowing,
which we normally don't have.
okay, I mean, there's always
Yeah,
a reason,
yeah,
someone
yeah.
could be sick,
Yeah.
someone's out on
Yeah.
a vacation, who knows? Okay,
So yeah, so you know, the town is growing. We have a lot more roads. I don't know if you know, out, you know, North Hadley, subdivisions out there. There's quite a bit of road out there now.
Mm.
It's tough for us to get to it all in a timely manner.
Yeah, and you have do you have a list of all the people that you can count on, or not necessarily count on, but other people that you can call as backups, is that?
We tried that a couple years ago and no one's interested. We, you know,
Oh, you don't get that much for interest,
no,
okay.
the wage is not high enough to attract
The
people.
liability is outrageous as well, right?
Well,
Or are they covered by the town?
no, like, so our current contractor, he is responsible for his own insurance, his own everything. We tried years ago to have, solicit just people to work for the town as a independent, you know, person, and we had one person apply. Just, you know, nobody really does that, I guess.
Well, they have their own routes.
Where they have
Yeah.
their own routes or what have
Or they
you.
work for the state.
Yep.
where they work for people that, you know, the wage is a lot higher.
So a lot of the wage, there's no one hired for, in the snow and ice department. So when they're working in there, it's a lot of overtime. More
Yeah, like-
overtime than
yeah.
straight wages.
You have a 40 hours a week, you know, there's 40 hours of straight time in the week and the rest is overtime, so, you know, you're going weekend storms, whatever, like the, you know.
There's been a lot of weekend storms
Mhm.
also.
Weekend and
A lot of-
overnights, yeah.
Yeah. It gets pretty expensive.
We had one, didn't we have one that fell on Super Bowl Sunday or something like that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Folks, they got plans, they don't, you know, they don't wanna give away their weekends like that, so what ends up happening is number one, you don't have remotely close to a full crew. And so number two, you know, only a handful of people are sucking up all the
Overtime's
overtime.
not mandatory, but it's at volunteer
Right.
basis.
Yeah.
But if there is like the storms that we had where there was state of emergency, is there, who knows what their contracts say, everybody on deck? When you got an 18-inch storm, say, guys, I know you guys have got plans or whatever it is, but you know, we're paying you to work for the town. There's a state of emergency. Buildings are being closed down, roads are being shut down, to telling your guys and say, sorry guys, this is part of your job. Things might be easier during the summer and spring, but you're paid to actually plow snow in that time to enforce that if possible, or having the select board enforce that, or with your assistants, or the TA to assist that, I can see if, you know, sick is one thing, but if there is a projected storm 3 days ahead and say, guys, we need everybody on deck here. You know, if it's possible, because you know, it's,
I had those conversations with Mike. There's contractual things that pretty much make our hands very tied. So it's,
okay,
those conversations do happen.
okay, thanks.
Okay.
And then just like you're getting by Mohawk again, when you have 2 feet of snow or whatever, fall in a 12-hour period, we don't have a lot of big equipment. You need equipment to plow that back. You can only plow so much snow with little equipment. They can only do so much. Then you need
Loaders.
some loaders or whatever, just like in the schools. We're in the town buildings. We're not going in there every round, I guess, to open them up. You're going there, there's 2 feet of snow on the ground. You're not going in there doing that with a pickup truck. That's another, you know, you need
Maybe you
equipment.
make sure it's all pushed back
Right.
far enough and all that
Exactly.
good stuff.
You're fortunate you have a backup.
Yeah. Anything else on that, Amy, or you wanna move
No,
on to?
no, no.
Just
keep
one
going.
Question for Linda. Have you, the last several years, was there ever a year where they actually had to raise some of this, or were you always able to find it in another portion of the budget? You know, the overage?
We've always been able to cover it. It's only been last year and now this year.
Okay.
So I don't know how it's going to work out this year. We don't know how.
Yeah.
it's going to run. But no, and I wouldn't, we wouldn't want to set that up intentionally. I mean,
Right.
we would very much like to cover it out of any other sources that
Absolutely.
we have.
So it's gonna take it from some other part of the budget too, if you had to raise it.
Either one of the DPW budgets, or, you know, once you're at the end of the cycle, you can kind of look over everything and see if you have transfers that you can make to cover it.
Right.
I don't think we've had to go back to
No,
That's
I'm-
actually having a
town
raise.
meeting and
Yeah, I'm
requesting
pretty sure
one.
we moved it over last year from one of the, but, I was
Good.
gonna say something about that. It's that much money, less money that comes, that affects our free cash. Either way, it affects the free cash,
Right.
because if we don't fund it from another one, it's just deducted from our free cash.
Deducted.
But if we fund it, that means that's less money that's going to roll back into the funds to be counted on July 1. So in that sense, it's,
Raise
it
on
hits
the
us either
recap.
way. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the overspend's not a freebie. It's just it just keeps us from getting into trouble with the roads. We set to move
Okay,
on then?
Yep, page 38.
Yeah, I just want to remind, as we get into this one, and especially as you're comparing back and the newer members, for your knowledge, we had a separate budget for streetlights, and we had a separate budget for cemeteries, and then the separate budget for highway operations. We merged them, and that gives, that helps us in dealing with fewer budgets, and it also provides more flexibility as we're cutting funds back for Scott to to sort of mix and mash between them and use money for different purposes. If he has money sitting over in streetlights and it turns out that streetlight budget was overfunded for our purposes that year, he wouldn't have been able to access that for trees. So when we put it in together, he can keep an eye on the entire situation, and we hope it works out better to have them in together. So, but also when you're comparing back, you go, wait a minute, this went up, or why did you go up? And then just remember that some of these things are higher because we had to move over two other budgets into it. Any highlights, Scott?
Obviously, there was a deficit in the highway department, that we had to come up with, money here for the deduction, roughly $80,000. So, we were able to move, 2 salaries to another department, an enterprise funded, position that was open. We didn't fill it. We kind of saved that position for a rainy day. I kind of could see this coming, and we've been working short-staffed, or in the sewer department, we didn't fill an open position, and now we have that position that we're going to fall back on to move 2 salaries partial into that spot.
So
So
this,
we can,
so this budget, you lost 2 salary, 2 full-time? And the,
Over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's 2 that have already been, the building maintenance position and a equipment operator
Oh.
were
Oh, yes.
alleviated, the last cycle. And now coming up, there's a deficit of $80,000.
okay.
That was the number, correct, Linda? I believe you
Yeah.
said it was
80.
Yeah,
That's correct.
80,000.
Yep.
And, obviously, to come up with $80,000, obviously, it's gonna be in personnel that we're gonna get that money. So we were able to move one of the mechanics and one of the highway department personnel, some of their salary into the other department, which kind of works out for us because we need to do more like TLC kind of work over there, and having some more manpower, we'll be able to do that and do some, be more proactive.
If I, just to be clear on that, so there's no misunderstanding, you're not just, well, we'll pay for it over here instead. We sat down and we evaluated, reevaluated what all the personnel was doing between these budgets, and in order to keep a person, and he was short-staffed, had already made cuts over in the sewer or water, I'm not sure which one you moved it over to, or there was a vacancy. So we held that vacancy and decided,
Okay.
rather than lay a person off in highway, and then hire someone if we needed in sewer, that he moved them around. So it's all done very intentionally, and I think I said, as long as it's fair and justifiable, that there can be that kind of moving around between the operations.
I just wanted to understand it, so, because I went to the sewer and I can see the increase in salary, so that's what that was, is it was just moving, so the decrease will be out of one, and the increase will go into the sewer.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And the money was in the sewer to begin with, we just
Well,
haven't touched it.
Yeah,
And some tasks may change for certain individuals, but the
Okay.
fewer layoffs that we can do, the better.
And, know, obviously one of the big cuts I just wanna, you know, make everyone aware of is, you know, we cut the dike maintenance right out of the budget, which is something that I had a lot of conversations about with Mike. And we have this problem with the levy, and we're trying to get federal funding and et cetera, but there is some preventive maintenance work that they expect us to do. Cutting brush, hiring out, you know, a long reach machine to cut and et cetera, and just, we're not gonna be able to do that. We're just trying to make reasonable cuts in, you know, areas that it may or may not be the right decision, but we still have to, you know, keep the roads going, potholes filled, patchwork, you know, drainage problems, our normal things still have to be done, so, you know, it was a big cut out of the budget to eliminate the dike mowing.
It's really hard, it's really hard with DPW, and Amy, you've been doing this for a lot of years, so you understand this, but just for the new members, one thing that I learned from Scott in the last year and a half is that the expense lines in the DPW budget, they're not what is necessary, meaning, you know, if I want to purchase a cruiser, if I have a cruiser line, I have a quote for a cruiser, I spend it down to zero, I buy a car. For the DPW, it's actually the amount of work that he can do within that bracketed, you know, line item. So tree, what do you call your tree one, Scott?
Arborist.
Yeah, so arborist and vegetation management. We give him, you know, for the last 2 budget cycles, he gets X amount of dollars. That's it. That's all he can do for tree, you know, maintenance. He can pay people to come in with their cranes and all that stuff. And when that's done, that work stops. We can't go any further. When it comes to line painting or, you know, road repair, things like that, when that money runs out, that's it. So Scott has always, I found it interesting, and I just think for the edification of the finance committee, you should be aware that when he explains these specific line items, it's basically, what is it that you need done in town, and put money there and I'll get it done, kind of thing. It's a odd feeling because everybody else's expense lines are basically, this is what I need to operate, whereas his are, how much work do you want me to do in this area? And going back to the levy situation, that's not a line that we want to cut. We did not want to cut that line. But unfortunately, like he was saying, we had to prioritize these things, so we went through every single one of his line items and just kind of shifted things around and said, which one's more important, this one or this one? Which one's more important, this one or this one? And unfortunately, the levy lost out when it came to some of these other life safety things. But as he mentioned, we have grant requests that are out there active right now, being looked at by the state and the feds. And the only thing that they expect of us is levy maintenance. They don't expect us to come up with $65 million to redo the levy or anything like that. What they expect us is to do the bare minimum. And in having to cut lines like that, it makes it a little bit more difficult.
So is that gonna hinder us getting the grants if we're not maintaining those?
With the maintenance that he has done up to this point, I think we'll be okay. We have been doing really good on it, and we have been documenting the things that we've done. But moving forward, moving into the future, we really need to continue to try to
We need a weed whacker
fund.
day on the levee.
Well, yeah, and I
Everybody
mean,
bring a weed whacker.
and you should see it. Like he, you know, the crew that Scott, and you tell the story better than I do, but the crew that we brought in originally, because what happens is you have to cut the brush back because it allows you to see animal burrows. Animal burrows are like cause number 1 of levee failures. And the crew that was doing the work actually told him, we're not doing this anymore because it's too dangerous. Because normally what they do is they bring a barge in and they do it from the water as opposed to doing it on the edge so they don't, you know, fall into the water. So they're all tied off on trees and everything else. And so we got to the point where they basically, I don't know how to put it, they quit the job essentially, right?
Well, we hire a specialized excavator with a mower on it that can reach down as far as it can reach. The rest, obviously, you can't reach. The best way to do it would be from the water in. which is very costly to do.
That's the problem, is that they said, we need a barge.
Yeah,
And
we
went,
need a barge.
Who's paying for the barge?
We did ask the contractor to start doing some handwork where they couldn't reach. And there's a ton of safety things that go into working by the water with that and whatever, and it was hard for them to meet those requirements. And the other factor of it was going so slow that they could only, you're working on the rocks and all sorts of different terrain, you have to move your setup every time you want to move the guys, and so you would go from here to the windows in an 8-hour day, which cost us a ton of money. We were going nowhere, and the contractor just asked if they could pull the plug. They felt really bad that they couldn't produce some, footage a day for us. It's just almost near impossible to do.
So when do we hear more about those grants? Do we have any kind of an ETA on that?
No. The most recent one that I submitted was just in February, and that one is going to the feds. I've actually applied for 2 other ones that we were denied, one through the USDA and one through the state. We requested funding through, for both the levee and water tanks through the state budget process. We were denied that. So the only one that we have still live right now is through the federal government, and that one I just submitted. So what that process is if they award it to us, the first step will be for them to do another analysis, which we've already had done from a private company, but they are requiring that the Army Corps of Engineers come in and do another feasibility study, I think they call it. And if it is feasible for them to help us with repairs, emergency repairs, and expansion of our levee system, I don't even know what the next step of the process would be. But we're in step 1 right now. But I only bring that up. I didn't mean to focus specifically on the levee, but I bring it up because it's kind of a unique situation. And Scott, so I guess the way I would explain it is if you look at Scott's budget, the items that have money in them, or a lot of money, or the ones that are zeroed out basically, are essentially what Scott feels are priorities. And yeah, I guess that's
Are you talking from North Lane all the way, from the beginning of North Lane, all the way around to the honeypots? That type of coverage for footage?
Yeah.
1,000 feet.
Yeah, I mean.
And they want to, and we need to make it taller, which means I think we need 2 more feet on top of that, which is gonna add, 2 more feet to it.
Out more.
Yeah, so you gotta reach out further. And the recommendation is that we build an entire new levee system on the opposite side of town, where the fire chief lives, in that area. So your house doesn't go away. And so we're talking the primary levee, I wanna say 25 to 30 million. And then the secondary part of it for the total project, I think they estimated at like 75 to 80 million. So,
Yeah.
but the goal is to find 1 to 2 million to start for the emergency repairs that we need, and then hopefully just go up. Because when the new flood maps come out, it's not gonna be tall enough.
Yeah, just like another thing too, just throw out there to you. One of the other things I'm always very concerned with is the engineering services for the highway department. So our biggest expense there is the landfill. The landfill, we have to do a lot of monitoring, a lot of testing there, and it's, all outsourced, and every year it gets more expensive. Oh, the landfill just in general, I talked to Mike about this, it's a huge liability to us.
talking about the Hadley dump, right?
Yes.
Then where you call the landfill.
The transfer station.
Then after, when it comes to if this potential, I started to watch the solar project, is that solar company gonna be responsible for those tests?
I would say no, because we own that material in the ground there, and that's what we're testing.
And they're
Any
leasing?
kind of leaching, and, you know, there's monitoring wells up there they sample groundwater out of and do all sorts of environmental things up there. It's, and it's very expensive to do. And, you know, even where the transfer station is now, there's monitoring wells there. And, you know, there's testing there. We have to meet certain criteria. And you know, a couple years ago, the state came out and looked at that. There is a ton of stuff there. The town of Hadley is the landlord of that property. They are responsible for every action on that property. The guy renting it from us, or the town, has zero liability there. If there's a spill or something there, whatever, you own that. Just throwing that out there. And it's very expensive to do.
What line item is that? that you're-
Engineering service, I just looked back, we're at $10,000 already this year, and it's a $15,000 budget. That doesn't include any other things in the highway department that we may need a little engineering on. That's mainly solely going for the landfill.
That's for,
5310.
Yeah. And another thing too, just, you know, every year, you know, I ask for, you know, I talked to Linda about this, just obviously, you know, the money's not there. But there's things that we have mandates for stormwater management, street sweeping, et cetera. We ask every year for a town meeting article to do that work. That should be incorporated in our budget. Those are things, if you don't do, you're gonna get fines from the state.
And we were moving in that direction. And a good example is ditches. A few years ago, we had a capital article, or a free cash or capital article on for cleaning the ditches because they were sorely behind. And it was $150,000. It was a big capital item. And the plan was, once we move through that and get everything stabilized, that it then come back into the budget for regular maintenance. And then it gets cut from the budget, and then it's gonna turn into capital again. And this is a number of things. When people see increases in budgets, sometimes it's moving things into there that we have been paying out of capital. There's a little bit of movement back and forth, and there was good reason for it. So that we don't have to argue, decide every year, well, should we clean the ditches this year? Should we take care of the dike this year? And these various things that they have to be done every year, and rather than deal with them separately like that, and get them in here as part of the regular DPW maintenance budget. So Scott's done a great job of adapting to this various change in rules that we give him every year, and bottom line for him is just tell me how much I got to work with, and I'll do the best I can, but he obviously would like to be doing more.
Yeah, we're in my personal opinion, we are, the town of Hadley, as far as road maintenance and things like that, you're going backwards, because we don't have the money to do it. We're trying to go off for Chapter 90 money, which is, it varies every year what they give you, whatever. And paving streets and doing maintenance like that, $1 million or whatever doesn't go very far. $800,000, it doesn't go very far at all. There's some roads here now that need millions of dollars worth of work that are totally falling apart, that we don't even know where to begin. You can't even imagine some of the problems that are out there. Drainage, this and that. We just fixed a culvert for I think it was $19,000. The road was washing away. There's huge problems here, and we're not even, it's just the life expectancy of things has met its point and then some, and we haven't been doing anything to try to correct that. We're in a reactive mode and not proactive.
So I'm seeing this with the salaries and the expenses, that's 125K. So how much, like everybody seems to be asking and wanting what Randy wanted, how much do you need for your budget from us or from the town? How much are you asking for to having at least a levy, to having this maintenance that if you're already in the red for 125K, what is it gonna take to operate your budget, your department? Any ideas, any numbers?
The sky's the limit, I guess.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
sounds like that.
But-
I mean, something as to
Yeah,
needing
I
a
mean,
number, you know,
right,
for us
so,
to
so
help.
I'll just throw out some numbers. Lines painting of the roads, you have to meet criteria, the striping of the roads. I asked for an article, we didn't get it. That has to be done this year. We're gonna be in violation of, the reflectivity and stuff of the lines. The last time we did the town, it was in essence of $50,000. Just to paint the lines on the road. That doesn't include any crosswalks or any of that stuff. So there's $50,000 there. This year, we had a bad year of frost. I don't know if you're riding around, you see all the cracking in the road. We should probably have $300,000 for crack sealing. Crack sealing's the #1 thing that you can do to the roads to make them last longer. Fill the cracks so the water doesn't get into them. You hold the roads together. And things are cracking here. I don't even know where to begin. You don't have the money. So you're just,
Well,
we're
it's not
gonna
like
do what we can do.
This
and
is
then-
what, you know,
Right.
we're asking, is saying, oh, like you said, the sky is the limit. Would you say $500,000 for you to at least get some things done with the
Well,
levy?
I would say $500,000 would probably be a good start. I mean, there's a bunch of culverts still need to be contended with that we're
Now, this is repairs, we're not talking about salaries, we're
Yeah,
talking
no,
about
yeah.
just repairs.
work.
Work
Physical
being
work.
done, physical work,
Yes.
not salaries.
And you're down people as well, so.
We're down people as well.
Yeah, Scott, is that, I mean, I think that's what they're looking for, is, I mean, what about salaries also? Do you need?
What's gonna bring you to a level that
Right.
makes you feel comfortable,
Well,
staff-wise and repair-wise?
I mean, we're down two people now. And you were just talking, Peter was talking about winter work and availability, okay? The more people you bring to the plate, or we have in our staff, the less we need to potentially outsource on certain things. Snow plowing, you could, do all in-house and things
So
of that
what's your
nature.
average salary for, in plus benefits, learned that last night, to get somebody in here? Like,
It's in the like the $65,000 mark, but that's not with the benefits. I don't know. That's
35% or
him
something.
with
So
the
it'd be about
town hall.
100.
Yeah, about $100,000.
per person? And you're down 2 right now, between last year and what's potentially happening for this year.
Right.
You'll
two-
be down 2.
Yeah, we'll be down 2, and then those other 2, part of their salaries are going to another department, so they won't be available for this work. They'll be in another department doing work over there. So
And
you'll
he
be
did-
down.
He just had a resignation recently of a supervisory position that, with the hiring freeze, is now frozen. And I think he's gonna wanna come in front of the next board meeting probably and request that he be able to post and rehire for that job, otherwise
And
that
what's that
salary would
salary?
go.
Is that, I'm assuming that's more than the 100, because he's a supervisor.
That's I think in the 80,000 mark plus the benefits.
So about, what, 120, Linda, something like that?
Benefits? We would do about
You said
35%, so probably 110 to 15.
10, 15.
The only difference with that position is that it's already budgeted, right, Scott? It's
Yeah.
in the budget, so it's just
Oh,
frozen.
so
for
it's
this
just frozen,
current-
No, it's-
okay.
yeah, yeah.
It's just a
Alright, so
matter of
that's not
unfreezing if you feel
together.
the need
It's
for
already in
that.
there, all right,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
So just to understand how many people that are part of the highway budget
Yep.
is you as the director.
Yep.
And then you have one supervisor under you?
Yes.
One?
But his salary is split up.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So so you, one supervisor, and then how many, and then 13 crew?
No, that's overall.
That's
Yeah.
overall. So
So one, you have the 2 vehicle maintenance that are under the highway department.
Okay.
And you have the 1, 2, and the 4 highway department employees.
And 4,
Yeah.
So it's-
and those are the ones that that are staying. They're not ones we're looking, that are part of these cuts.
Yes.
Correct.
One DPW guy and one,
So one of the
Mechanic.
4 will leave to go to sewer. So you have 4.
part, half,
Half of two, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half of 2?
Yes.
So technically a full.
Half each.
So Amy's correct in that.
Yeah.
One
saying
FTE.
One,
Yeah.
one FTE, okay.
One
Yeah, So
FTE.
1 FTE will be paid for by the sewer, half
Okay.
of 2 folks.
So then you'll only have 3
correct.
under here, okay?
And the supervisor is the one that just left, but he's in the budget already.
Correct.
Okay.
Streets and pedestrian way maintenance, that line item there, that's the sidewalks?
No, that's just the general item to, do repairs to things, fix catch basins that are falling and do road work patching.
Okay.
Just general road work, just,
Just general road
Yeah.
work. Is that, where's the sidewalks that you did, where would that come out of? Like, when you plow the sidewalks, is that
Oh,
ice?
snow and ice,
Snow and
yeah,
ice that
yeah,
comes out of
yeah,
there? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
There was some movement on the, did you mention it, anybody? No. Scott and I met with Mass DOT last week. As we were talking about earlier, when we were talking about plow drivers and things like that, Mass DOT doesn't have a money problem. They have a personnel problem, just like everybody else. They don't have folks to actually do the job. Scott and I discussed with them handling the new sidewalks that they just put in for us. We're talking about it's not a full 5 miles from where they started, so we're talking probably 7 miles worth of sidewalk?
from the bridge out to.
No, I'm
Amherst.
saying
Oh.
from where they agreed to take
Oh,
for us, all the new
It's
stuff.
probably from town hall to Amherst, that's what, 4 miles?
I would say 4, so probably 8, so
Yeah,
4 on
probably,
each side.
yeah.
So 8 miles of sidewalk was what we would have to add to their workload. They have agreed to handle that.
Do we have that in writing?
We're actually gonna get it in writing because, because the problem is this, they don't have a money problem to do it, so we do have to work out a deal with them. What they have offered is, if we can find contractors, which we can't, because they can't, they'll pay the contractors to do it, or they'll pay us to do it. And they have also agreed, and they're already working on it, to help us get a grant to buy the piece of machinery that Scott needs to do the sidewalk,
Awesome.
because as
Great.
you've seen, they're like
Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah.
road
You
size.
just go when
Yeah.
Adam does it.
So we will have 2 machines. He has one currently that's not exactly what he needs, that we can do it, but they've actually already reached out to us to help us get a grant for the new machine, and they're gonna take on that whole section until we get an agreement in place. And the agreement will be them financially covering it. How it's gonna look, I don't know, but it's a very good step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing else will be,
We'll
nothing else
do
will
the
be
work,
added
they'll
to the
be
DPW's
reimbursed.
load
Yeah.
when it comes to the sidewalks.
That's great news.
That's, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that should, because when we're talking about that, I was thinking of unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
They're forcing that on
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
And,
Yeah,
you know,
I
we didn't
was-
ask for those sidewalks.
Yeah.
They're not, because of the fact that, I don't know all the details, but I do remember the knockdown, drag-out arguments when John was still on the select board, when they built the bridge, when they redid the bridge, and they did those sidewalks all the way up to Middle Street. I know that they battled over those, and we ended up taking them on. The good news is that, well, I should say the bad news is that we're still gonna have to handle those, but they're gonna deal with all the new stuff. The good news is that they also agreed to, what do they call it, spot checks? If Scott calls and says, hey, your plow truck's put 8 feet of snow on this corner here, and it's turning to ice, they will come out and they'll handle that type of
So
stuff.
that new machine that we're getting, can we use that on our sidewalks too, or is it just limited to theirs?
Oh, no, it's ours, yeah, it's our machine, do whatever you want with it.
You wanna.
Drive it through the side of town hall if you want.
No, the state, I just thought maybe they could only use it on theirs.
No.
Just wanna make sure.
I applied 2 years in a row and got denied 2 years in a row, and all of a sudden, I've been putting a lot of pressure on them, and Mike got involved, and we're putting more pressure on them, and we seem to be getting a little traction for
That's
some
good.
crazy reason or whatever, just,
Great.
yeah, so.
Keep it
So if
going.
it's more than a one-year contract, to extend it, say, 5 years or
Well,
a
Did he put his
10-year,
title in there,
right,
chief
to
of
really-
police, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like, okay,
They
we'll
were,
do it for you.
They were talking long-term, which was great, and I mean, you know, we haven't obviously done anything in writing yet, and they said that currently right now, if more snow flies or whatever, this season, our contractor who is doing the Route 9 job is responsible for it. You've probably seen him out there. But they said that if we didn't have a contract in place by next winter, they would just simply figure out a way to handle it for us. But they really would like to work with us to get something in writing, and they were certainly talking long-term, so I think we're in good shape.
Awesome.
That's real good news.
So when are you thinking, just so the ball doesn't drop, when do you think we need to have that contract signed or something?
My
What's your
hope
ETA?
is that once this grant comes through for the machine, we'll know that everything's real, that they're actually
Okay.
they're really helping for sure. I'm, like Scott called, what, did we talk today or yesterday or
Yeah,
whatever?
so they called me today.
And we had the meeting
asked
last
two-
week.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and asked 2 questions. Or, can you get us an updated quote for what your request was? And can you spend the money before June 30th?
I said, we can spend
Say
the
no
money.
problem,
next week."
tomorrow.
So,
Tomorrow.
that was their questions, which I was shocked over. to
That's
be
never,
honest with
yeah, I
you.
don't know.
That's
that.
really quick
So I
for the
think-
state.
So I think we will be able to keep them on the hook, so to speak, because as we work through the grant process to get the machine, we can then say, okay, well, we got the machine now, so we can do the sidewalks. Let's talk numbers about what it's gonna cost us to do the sidewalks. Scott thinks he has the personnel that will be able to do it off hours, when they're not handling town of Hadley business, and the state can pay 'em.
Will it be addressed, like looking down the road, this machine has a useful life of X number of years. When that goes, would they be willing to pony up again for a replacement machine?
I think it would be one of those things, just see what they have for grant programs out there and just apply, when the time comes, I guess.
Maybe you put a caveat in the contract
Be
that
happy
says
if
something
you
to
got
that.
it.
Yeah. I think
It'd be nice to.
Time for the
get
next
one
one,
in
and
for
you're on
particular-
your
Because
own.
if you look at all the sidewalks on a little bit of East Street, West Street, and Middle Street, I wouldn't wanna put that new machine on that.
Mm-mm.
If you see with all the frost heaves and all the roots, you destroy that thing. So it might be just for now, being of only a Route 9 machine to extending that life. To whatever we've been using right now, go with it, but we wouldn't wanna have an expensive machine getting wrecked in the first year.
I wouldn't put
It'd get
I
killed
wouldn't
in
put
the
a
first
snow
year.
blower on those things.
Correct.
How many auger pins you'd be replacing? Want to move on to the building
Yeah.
maintenance one, or?
Yeah, pretty
How are
much.
you-
There's one question here, though, I do have, vehicle fuel.
Yes.
We budgeted last year for about 150, but we've only used so far for half a year, 44,000. So we've
Let's-
used a lot less than half.
Let's
So I'm
check
just
that.
curious, is,
Is that
where you-
high?
yeah,
Well, cost of fuel, the cost of gas is actually going up right now.
Right now, but
Yeah.
Right.
So, let's see.
So as of what Linda printed,
Yeah, there it is.
is, the balance, we've used 67,000, or 69,000.
Oh, I thought it was 44. Am I looking at the wrong
No,
one?
no, you're looking at the right, but we just printed it up, update.
An
So
updated.
this is always going to cover half a year.
Oh, yeah,
And then now we have through February.
okay.
And so, yeah, so it is 68,900 through February. And,
So you got 4 more months.
So Scott,
Yeah,
you have
you do.
seasonality in your usage then? It's
Oh,
not-
yeah, we do, obviously, like in the highway department for sure. When you're plowing snow and you got all that equipment running, it burns some fuel, there's no
Mhm.
question about that.
Okay.
You know, like now, you know, our fuel consumption will go down a lot. You know, the police and fire, whatever, they're pretty consistent of what they're using.
That's true.
Cause they run kind of the same beat all
Patterns.
year, the
Twelve
pattern's the
months.
same, yeah. Like for us, it comes in cycles of what we have going on, you know,
Weather.
weather.
The
Yeah.
weather again.
Not a big
Get rid
deal,
of the
I
weather,
I
you'd
mean,
be
if we're
all set.
over, that's fine, because
Yeah.
we'll just use it at the end of the year by transferring or
Right.
something, so not a
Yeah.
huge deal, I just
Yeah.
questioned why it was low.
and he's carrying it for the town, for most,
Yeah.
for a large number. But you named the ones that are the largest users, I think that's.
So the whole, all of the town's fuel is included in this,
Minus the school.
Not the school,
the
yeah.
buses.
So
Yeah.
Linda, does that get journalized out
Mhm.
to each department?
No, not anymore.
It
Not
just
anymore.
stays in
They have
Scott's
a record
budget
of
then?
it, so that they'll know how much how much gas the,
The school
COA
depart-
van used, for
Yeah.
example. But what we're trying to do is be efficient and spend a little less time sitting here and moving things around.
Mhm.
Okay, there's no reason not to have a single fuel account. Also, when, let's say the price of gas went way up, we're just watching one budget and you haven't shorted 6 budgets. And then we have to deal with that 6 times. We'll deal with it at one time in the primary budget. Because it was his department, his support staff that was doing those allocations out. And yes, it was being journaled in, but sometimes there were even checks written. And we have to, this is very inefficient use of a lot of people's time.
Administrative work.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
so the bill gets
unnecessary.
processed through, the check gets written, the check gets deposited, the check gets brought over, turned over, and, you know, we.
You Pay yourself.
Yeah, that's the, I hate that in the turnovers, when I see a check from ourselves coming in as income, it's like,
The only place, I know the senior center gets a reimbursement through a program, not sure, like a PVT or
PVTA.
something, so we send them their
Yeah.
fuel usage and, you know, but other than that, you know, the paperwork aspect of it is very minimal.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask, like I ask every year, how's the fleet?
Uh,
How's the vehicles?
yeah.
Cause everybody goes, it looks like the town's got brand new vehicles. We got blue, we got yellow, we got white.
Yeah.
So I
So,
gotta ask, how's
yeah.
the fleet doing? Is there any
Uh,
unexpected things that,
They're,
to knowing what's going on and how they're doing?
so, I'd say it's in relatively good shape.
Okay.
This year we had one, I don't know, bigger failure on a big sand truck. It broke down during a storm and it was totally dead. Tow truck, the whole thing. So, I don't know, $4,000 repair plus the fuel bill, you know, toll bill and things of that nature. But all in all, besides that,
We're doing all right.
doing all right. I know, like, Enterprise, there's one pickup truck for sure that it's very gonna be questionable here to get a sticker on. It's got some a lot of rot. It's got over 100,000 miles on it and whatever. Just, you know, we'll see what happens with that. As far as like big equipment, whatever, pretty good shape. You know, we're doing our best with the washing aspect after the storms. Like obviously, it's cold, we can't wash, but the minute we can, you know, we're washing and cleaning and neutralizing salt and trying to keep everything clean in the frames, and the high, you know, areas of, you know, potential rot. We're really keeping an eye on it, doing, you know,
Were you
what we
able to
can
do
with
the
that.
fluid film on those frames, or that wasn't part of the budget, or you're just?
Oh, we
waiting?
do, they do it, but like with us, it only lasts so long
course.
because, you know, we're washing heavy, you're out there in all this excessive weather and there's so much slopping on the frame, whatever. It stays on. The mechanics, when they go through the trucks in the spring, they clean everything and re-fluid film all the frames and whatever. I mean, fluid film it's cheap insurance for us for being proactive and try to make the longevity of stuff longer. But other than that, you know, it in a perfect world, I would definitely be requesting the, kind of roll over the oldest sander, but we're not in that position right now, so we'll keep it together how we can.
Okay, thanks.
What is this, when I see stipends, what does that mean?
Those are contractual things, so the guys that are on call get a on-call stipend for the day, so that's what it is.
Okay. So they don't go on under overtime, they have a,
Yeah, it's a stipend, they call it a stipend, so.
okay.
But they still get paid when they come
Yeah,
in
yeah.
addition to it.
It's
Yeah.
just for being on call?
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
on-call, yeah.
It's availability.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have any more questions for Scott under the highway part? Good. Go over to building maintenance.
Building maintenance, very, very, I don't know, depressing kind of thing.
Lots of guessing.
Yeah, lots of guessing. Again, it's one of those things that we're in reactive mode and not proactive. When something breaks, we fix it. We're not, changing out any equipment or whatever that's, somewhat met its useful life expectancy. We're just kind of waiting for failures and, moving that direction. It's just, now that the second building maintenance person isn't there, we're even doing that much less. We have some beautiful buildings, and I mean, you can see that the TLC aspect of them is falling off. We're just not doing it because we don't have the manpower or the funds.
We're
So-
responsible for some kind of 8 buildings?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, all the
Yeah, they're-
buildings.
they're
fall
named
under
there.
DPW, yeah.
Other than school.
Yes.
But before we had 2 full-time
Public safety.
building maintenance people, so now we're going down to 0. Who's gonna, where?
Who's picking up that slack?
Yeah.
Well, it's that $52,000 line.
Now, okay, so are we gonna hire someone under the $52,000 line?
So we didn't really know how to handle it when we were going into this, so the money was put in, I think we talked about it before, like a contractor's line. And Scott can essentially just, if you agree or if the select board agrees, you can move that money to a person if you so choose.
If
It's
they-
just,
Okay, so
It's-
that's just
it's a-
open right now, there's nobody attached to it, but
Correct.
that's,
it's
Or something.
Allocated, but not you.
Now,
Correct.
Yeah.
the
it's
line
just another
item,
one of the questions we didn't have an answer to.
yeah,
And-
the
and-
109 though, that is for the actual work to be done if you have to contract someone for like plumbing or something, right?
Are they existing contracts?
There-
Because
there-
we have,
there-
like,
there is
air
some
conditioning
existing
contracts, we actually,
contracts,
maintenance
yeah,
contracts.
But they all fall under that one line.
Yeah.
Kind of everything was, years past, kind of every building had its own maintenance line.
Yeah,
And we compiled them into one. So like all those contracts are in place, just they get pulled out of that one budget, and then, we do everything else out of there too. So it's another situation of we do what we can do, what we have.
So I'm curious to know how much is taken up by maintenance contracts and how much is available to use for unexpected events such as
Right.
a pipe burst or some, some leakage, or you need a small repair done.
I know we gave, Jennifer those numbers, and I don't have them in front of me to tell you, but some of the maintenance contracts are pretty expensive. Elevator maintenance is
Yeah.
very expensive. Some of the HVAC stuff in the buildings that are the green buildings, the new ones, whatever, the controls and all the maintenance that goes on with that is pretty pricey. Even the automatic door opener here at the senior center, there's a maintenance contract on that, and that's ridiculous amount. Somebody for maintaining a door that slides back and forth, the maintenance contract on it is very expensive.
So now, do we negotiate any of those?
No, most of it's brand specific, or vendor. Peter would know the term for that.
Manufacturer specific?
Yeah,
Proprietary.
manufacturer.
Proprietary.
Proprietary. yeah,
Especially with
yeah,
the controls
yeah,
with the
Yeah.
HVAC, they just have
Yeah.
that program
Yeah.
and they won't let anybody else
Yeah.
do it, so
Yeah,
they own it and they can set the price to whatever you have to do.
yeah, and that's what we're up against, because it's all proprietary equipment. When things go out the bid or whatever, the job gets bid under X component, and you own it. And nothing in town is the same. Every building is different.
I'm just, this was one of the budgets that I thought I really zoned in on, was
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
concerned that I think we might be in trouble with.
So the 52,000 is different, though. That would be available for, that's not a contract, an annual contract thing. This would be available for phone calls to plumbers, painting, repairs, various things for all of the buildings. And would be asking the support staff in the highway budget to be the ones responsible for that, so requests, problems, issues, making the phone calls out to get a contractor in will add to the responsibilities of the administrative staff in Scott's office.
Or we could put that into a body, is what you were saying too? Did I
I
understand you
think
correctly?
that, I mean, I don't wanna speak for Scott, but we had this conversation when we went through this originally, and I think that's really what, he wants. Just like,
Yeah.
what you're gonna hear from all the other department heads, like, this is what it's being allocated for, but, that's not the best use of that money, in his opinion. I think what he's thinking more along the lines of what Amy was suggesting, is that having that person that can fix the hole in the wall when somebody puts a doorknob through a wall,
Mhm.
things like that.
Yeah,
Gotta
is
find people
more
that
valuable.
have that universal type of
Jack of all
capabilities
trades.
from,
Exactly right.
You know,
I mean,
changing
There's local
lights.
businesses, yeah.
Fixing a door handle, doorknob, fixing sheetrock, finding
basic
somebody.
plumbing.
light bulbs,
Light
things
bulbs.
like
Shingles,
that.
tiles.
Tiles.
Well, they're
absolutely.
finding somebody that's not willing to do it, but capable of doing it, that can do a
it's-
multiple
yeah.
type of job.
It's no joke. I mean, what.
Is that a full-time position, or would it just be like on-call position? Like,
Oh.
tiles are broke, or this
There is so much maintenance we could do. You could have, like, realistically,
Sky's the limit.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like realistically, at public safety, you could have a full-time employee there cleaning every come in, you clean every day, you take out the trash, you go into the common areas and you pick up the stuff, and then you go through and, you paint, like, nothing's been painted over there in years. There's criteria down in the, in the holding area that gets inspected and needs to meet certain standards. You could have somebody in there full-time, mowing the grass, doing, things to the outside of the building, etc. Shoveling snow, that's another thing, that's a 24-hour-a-day building. We struggle to try to figure out how to get over there and shovel the snow. Sometimes one of the fire personnel is able to help, sometimes they're not. It's, again, a 24-hour-a-day building. It needs to be accessible for people. So, in my opinion, you could have like one person there that could work there and run to the North Station and take care of those. This campus over here, where we are right now, between the senior center and the library, the amount of traffic here, I don't know if you come here during the day or not, it's crazy the amount of people that are here. Like, you could have 2 full-time people here, and then somebody can, run over the town hall, and then, a floater in between. The foot traffic here is, the buildings were closed a couple of snowstorms on Saturday, and the people that were coming here in the snow to return books or whatever was eye-opening. It was, I never realized how many people come here. It's a lot. And we're not doing any maintenance to, carpet tiles or cleaning or et cetera. It's the bare minimum.
And we get, Scott and I get texts from, the COA staff anytime there's a weather event, because the folks who come here need solid ground to
Absolutely.
be able to walk on. And so it's either shut the building down if they don't have the manpower to keep the sidewalks clear, which we've done multiple times, or they gotta put post somebody here to just keep throwing salt down. It's crazy. And so almost every time we've had some kind of a weather event, we've had to do a delay at this campus for these 2 buildings, just because of the fact that they're out in the street plowing.
It was you had a 2-hour delay, or you opened at 11 o'clock. And I happened to come that day because I volunteer twice a month here. And when I got in here, it was 11:30, and there was the whole place was packed. I mean, I'm like, what is going on? That whole room had people in it, and there was people all on all the sofas. Everybody was waiting. They had someone here for taxes.
Yep.
And it was packed.
That was the last snowstorm.
It was the last snowstorm,
We had a
and it was
2-hour delay,
packed.
and people were coming here at 8 o'clock that
Yeah.
don't fall, have
Believe
any
it.
kind of.
He said,
You know.
can you do me a favor the next time we do a delay and tell them the delay means everybody can't come here.
Now,
We don't
with
want
that
this falling.
is it gonna be building maintenance / DPW? Is it DPW / maintenance? What would be the priority job description for this person, where if he's doing building maintenance, would he be required to also be plowing snow? Or is he DPW, but yes, he can go about and change light bulbs? What's that,
So it would be-
that job description for him to
Building-
say, that's not my job?
Those job descriptions are building maintenance first, but they have the language in there that, snow plowing and et cetera are part of your duties, or management rights, and there's things like that, but their priority would be building maintenance.
You have had a position that's paid out of both, and that was,
Yeah.
it's officially a split position. So it would be at your option.
I think that's the best way to go, Peter. I mean, if it is already set up that way, but I think having that jack of all trades that can do all of those things, and then, oh no, 2 feet of snow is coming, we're gonna need you
Get in the truck.
in a truck, that kind of thing. I think that makes sense.
But then it's nice to have those maintenance people to be, hey, it's starting to hit daybreak, come over here, I don't know. There's a lot of snow removal to do here yeah, we clean all that and clean it very well because of the clientele of people here, the elderly's coming here, they need good surface to walk on. I know we put a lot of effort in that. I don't know if you come here or not after a snowstorm, but it's pretty clean for the people, and we try to keep the bar pretty high for ourselves, but that comes at an expense of labor and material and et cetera. And I think the people have come to expect that from us every time, and we try to do it, but it's getting harder and harder every time. Come over here, get during the day. The other departments, water and sewer guys, have their work to do. There's procedural things that need to be done every day. Hey, can we get a couple bodies to come over here and help us shovel and snow blow and et cetera? It'd be nice to have the proper staff to here take care of these buildings, and you know, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it goes over very well with people when we close these down. I talked to Mike about this, that, you know, depending how everything shakes out here, these buildings, you may be able to have them to close 2 days. It's just gonna be almost impossible to do. By the time you get done with all the street plowing and, you know, the main sidewalks in town, making sure that things are ready for the kids to go to school, etc. There's a lot of work to do.
Now, this 52K was from a employee that had retired
Yeah.
or left?
Yeah.
So that was, that's money from an open position.
And I believe part of it was paid out of, as Linda, I think Linda just said that, I'm sorry. It's part of the position was paid out of the other budget, so you do have enough to fund a full position if it's more than, that 52.
So that's that one salary, that isn't half a salary, that's the full
I
salary.
don't know if it's, it wasn't
You know what I mean?
half.
So,
It's a
we're
portion.
seeing
It's a-
52, but is that,
It's a portion of it, I don't know if it's,
It was
probably more than that.
It was up till January when he retired, so it's 6 months of a salary, right? Or
Was he making that much?
It was the money that we had
Yeah.
available to use. I mean, it's kind of.
But we're
this-
also,
this is
it
what
might be the
comes to-
money that we
didn't
need
do
to
so
use,
many
but we
hours
also
that-
need to know how much is the salary.
Yeah, I think he's.
You know,
I think
you're
he said
saying,
earlier
we're
that-
seeing
52,
52, but we need to know,
Yeah.
We need another 50 to add
that
to
we need
that.
another 50 to that with 30% of
Yeah.
it, so now these are numbers that,
Do you know how much of the salary was covered in the highway operations budget?
no, it was
Yeah.
over the 490. You have that one? No, I don't.
I thought it was in there.
Oh,
What
it's on the
percentage?
490, but
Okay, let me, the 490.
I believe that one.
Or is it?
That may have been the cut, actually.
Oh, there, okay.
The cut
Oh,
may
there it
have
is.
been the other
It's
portion.
the second yellow.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it looks like it was 50-50. It was, so it's the 39 and 139 and the other. You can see the 39 that is in here, 39,244, that's half of that,
And
that position.
And the one that was vacated was 100% building.
So 39,244 is half.
One was
Right.
split and one was
So
100%.
let's go.
80,000.
So he's
it's
78.
80,000.
Yeah, plus the benefits too.
Plus 30%, so you're
Plus-
talking 110.
Another,
Percent.
yeah.
That was that was
So you're talking about 105 total.
that was someone
yeah, benefits?
at the top of the scale.
100.
Low.
Yeah.
I think that.
If that was someone at the top of the scale, because he's been here forever, we're not gonna hire somebody else coming in at that.
I don't-
It's not a
I don't know.
supervisory position, right, Scott? It's a.
That seems like it's very high.
Yeah, unless
But
it was, I don't know if he was a supervisor as well.
Well, look at the job description. That's where they're gonna get you, say, oh, if I can do this, I can do this, instead of farming it
I
out,
thought it was a supervisor.
this is what I'm worth. That's where they get you.
The two people in it.
Not, to what the person's valued at, of course.
I thought it was just Gary and Jack that were.
No, it's Gary and Hukowski before he left.
Okay.
So, but wasn't this salary attributed to Ed
Yes.
before he left?
Yeah.
Was Ed a supervisor?
No.
Okay, so, I'll be honest with you, I mean, it's a good point, Peter, like, if you make the job description too far-reaching, you do have to probably pay more, but if it's not a supervisory position, I certainly don't see that you would have to pay remotely close to that amount of money, that's crazy. We're talking about a maintenance person.
I was thinking the 52 is their whole salary, is where I was going
That's,
with that.
that's
Yeah, that's
honestly
what-
where I was
That's
going
where I was
as well.
going.
So
I
if
was
you
thinking
added
the same way.
Are you
37%.
insulting maintenance people now?
Not at all.
No,
Not
I
at all.
just
Like,
didn't.
This is something that we are dying for. We
And
absolutely
you've already got that
need this
52,000
position.
allocated into
Yeah.
the budget, right? So all we would need to do is hire somebody, but we have
So
a
what-
hiring freeze.
You know, what would be the entry
Doesn't
level
have to be full-time.
salary?
Right,
for
yeah,
that
yeah,
position?
yeah.
Well, I
Since
can
they're at
tell
the top of
you.
the scale.
I mean, I think the issue is I feel exactly the opposite of the, the joke you just made, because I feel like people like this are incredibly hard to come by,
Absolutely.
which is probably why we're gonna need more than that amount of money.
So in the union contract, roughly, I don't, you're, the 52 to 66 is
Entry level.
roughly the range in the contract,
Plus benefits.
plus benefits.
So, if you did,
Entry level.
so if you just did 60,
60 times 30%, let's say that's 80. It's 80K.
yep, there you go, that would cover the benefits. Did we make a cut to the benefits? Or is that money still there?
We don't do it on an individual basis.
So,
Yeah, there's
so you
just
could probably.
too many factors in flux.
Probably just add 8.
Mhm.
If you're gonna, just to have a $60,000 salary, if that's what you're gonna do, because that, because the benefit should still be there, generally speaking. You're gonna need
Yes,
35%.
yes, except that they're going up.
But we
Yeah,
have somebody,
yeah, I know.
if this is Eddie's position, we do have somebody right now that's also doing someone in building maintenance. There's not just one person, there's two.
For the 27
There
budget.
were two.
it's actually
Now
there.
Eddie's
Scary.
left, so there is, so,
Yeah.
so this is based on July 1st.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah, 'cause he's gone.
So right now, when
He's
it
gone.
comes to on-call, any kind of services, you're using the money of that 52K for electrical, plumbing, and whatever services right now, just to get by till July 1st and then see what we decide to do.
Well, we don't have the 52K now.
no, this is 27 budget, so
Okay,
that's
okay,
what,
this is
that's
27,
that, that's reflective of that.
So
I'm
there's
not sure
another-
what
it was a new
line
line.
Scott uses for that now.
It's being paid out of the 109. Is it
It's
the
not
same?
efficient. It's not efficient, it really isn't. Like, you gotta, when you have to pay a plumber emergency rate to come in and, you know, figure out why water's coming through the ceiling in town hall. that's
Yeah,
not
but remember,
cheap.
But they do that
but remember,
anyways.
but maintenance guys can only do so
Yeah,
much. If
that's
there's,
right. They
if
were
there's
still
a
calling the
severe
plumber.
plumbing problem, he's gonna be like, yeah, I can't do that, we need a plumber.
Call, yeah,
But
call
that's what the
plumber. That's
109 is covering, stuff like that, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So if they have to go to a plumber, he can do all the little things, but if they have to go to a plumber or a carpenter or something, that 109 is,
Right.
it's pulling out of that.
And I think one of the reasons that they, and correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't here for this, but one of the reasons they consolidated it is because some of our buildings are newer and require less maintenance, it's hard to budget for them, and the other ones are falling apart. So, you know, why bother doing the transfer at the end of the cycle when you could just put them all in the same pot and we'll fix stuff as it breaks?
And just another thing with this, don't forget when you call somebody, the prevailing wage is part of a contractor coming here. So just,
And then you pay for emergency call
Yeah.
and all that.
What
But-
is
but
the
he-
prevailing wage for, I guess it all depends for electrician or a plumber or a carpenter.
So it's dependent upon the
yeah,
work.
work on the trade,
Yep, so it's
They're all
dependent on the
different.
trade.
I mean, can you give me a stab as to like, what's a plumber cost for a prevailing wage? Is it $250 an hour?
they're in the hundreds. Depending
Hundreds?
depending if you're a journeyman, an apprentice, a master, I don't know if you ever saw the prevailing wage, the categories, there's a ton of them, and it's all dependent on that trade and that person,
Who they sell.
right, or right, but, you know, a lot of times, they'll send a journeyman with a helper, and, you know, the helper's getting, $75 an hour. So like our little things turn into pretty big things pretty fast.
So if you're looking at, let's see. A front-end loader operator is, prevailing wage is, $39.56 an hour.
You gotta go all the
That's
way to
good.
the right, though, Mike, when you
Yeah.
add.
Oh, I'm sorry, you gotta add, I'm sorry,
You
you're right,
gotta
you gotta add all the
other
insurance
stuff.
and
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
So, $68.49. That's the
not
per,
double.
that's per hour. You know, brick and stone, a masonry person, $90 an hour and change, and that's and then their rent.
Do you have a trade person, whether
Yeah.
plumbing, electrical, HVAC, or?
You just want to know if you can go.
You couldn't afford.
Wages.
So a carpenter.
His name on the list.
Change your rates.
A carpenter is 70-26, and then as you get, as Scott was saying, as you have a higher rating, I guess, you know,
Level of
journeyman or whatever,
expertise.
up to $73 an hour.
Computer program, it's over $100 an hour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cement masonry bricklayers, $78 an hour. Chainsaw operators, $73 an hour.
I need to
Operate
learn
a
how to operate a
chainsaw.
chainsaw.
Oh, I got a chainsaw.
Yeah.
I need a new career.
It's pretty interesting that.
Yeah,
that you-
I mean, this list, I'm only a third of the way through. I don't know
Before you even,
There,
you
what were
know,
we looking for?
plumbing, electrical, HVAC.
Electrical, I got electricians, $85.37 an hour.
And you could be there minimum 4 hours just trying to
Yeah.
find things and.
Figure out what you're doing.
He
You
was
guys,
saying,
without you guys
elevator-
having to babysit him and say, where's the breaker, where's this, and all this stuff, so.
he
that
was
could
saying
be-
elevator repair, 103, $103 an hour.
And I'm sure ours is higher because it's a contract.
Well, the no matter what your contract is, the
You have to
labor
claim.
rates are set by the state. So
Oh, that's good then.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
it's
Not
it's
that
We
they're
got no
good,
control
but
over that.
right. It's the other
Right.
things that they.
Peter, I don't know where
goes
you,
along with it, I guess.
I don't know where you, I got 5 different HVAC jobs. They don't even, it's not even just HVAC. So if you want to just do duct work, it's $84 an hour. If you want to handle electrical controls, it's $85 an hour. If you want to test and balance, I don't know what that
I
means.
need to work for the state.
$84.28. An HVAC mechanic is $87.31. So yeah, I would say you better look into it, because if you can do all of those things, whew, you better get on the state contract.
They'll be calling you every other day. Stuff to do.
But that would be the thing for, if finding somebody that is qualified, anybody could say, everybody's, I'm sure, taking a fib on their resume and say, oh, I can do that. But then they say, oh, that's not part of my job description, or I don't know how to do that, and then they'll call for what could be a simple fix as to a plug drain. Are they willing to,
Use a
you know,
plunger.
You know, use a
Right.
plunger, and it's like, okay, if the toilet's plugged and it's beyond the plunging, can you snake it or remove it? Are, you know, some of those job descriptions really need to know, because I'm gonna go, well, yeah, I can plunge, but I'm not gonna snake it, or I'm not gonna remove a toilet from the wax ring and do that from the get-go. So that's kind of knowing of, you know, taking out of that 109 as to, you know, of all the things that are wrong with all the buildings. You know, which any of you think, okay, you would think somebody that does hands-on would be able to fix one of the doorknobs that, you know, that's punching into the wall, or changing tiles. To finding somebody, and if it's beyond their abilities, then I guess, yes, calling out of that 109.
I think, you know, you're a tradesman, Peter. You know how that goes. Those people are out there. You need to find them. There's somebody out there. But the quality of the person, or their level of skill comes with a price. You know, you want a guy that, you know, can plunge a toilet, yeah, okay, it's $20 an hour. You want a guy that's gonna be able to snake it for you, well, that's gonna be $35. It's
Well, talking about all that stuff, we'll move right over to sewer.
Good
Good
segue.
Keep on going.
uh,
Oh, page
49, or
49,
51 for the actual budget.
Oh, yes, about it.
I think 8 o'clock is enough. 2 hours is enough.
Enough looking at numbers.
you know, not much change with the sewer. You know, we raised our rates, our revenues are getting better, but we're just, it's another one of those departments that a lot of the equipment has met its life expectancy. And it needs a lot of update and a lot of work. We're doing our best, picking away at, making repairs ourselves as much as we can. But, there was a study done for the sewer department, and there's millions of dollars worth of repairs that need to be done. It's rate funded, we just need to stay strong on our rates and, just keep plugging away, but just, again, it's life expectancy of equipment has, we've met it and exceeded it. Some of the equipment that we own, it's not serviceable anymore, they don't even make it, you can't get parts, etc. So when something fails, you're into a total change out of control equipment or whatever. But it's just,
We just raised water and sewer, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting
our
more money
revenues
than
are,
we used to.
yeah, revenues are,
What were the
it's
percentages
picking
on that? Do you remember?
oh, I don't, I should, but do you remember, Linda?
I feel
It
the
was-
same, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Too many
It-
numbers.
No, let's see.
It was quite.
Did I write it down?
Yeah, I remember when it
Yeah.
came in,
Yeah.
it was,
It was pretty high.
but at least these two budgets, you're not under the constraints of Prop 2.5.
Correct.
They're outside their enterprise funds. so-
Right. But, the sewer department, like I said, it needs a lot of work. I know I brought Peter on a little tour and showed him some of the stuff. It's met its life expectancy. It needs to be worked on. And, doing that work and buying materials, if you go to a hardware store, that, years ago you could buy a light bulb for $1, now they're $6. That's the same thing with us, and, the money just doesn't go as far as it did. And like I said, we have to really stick with the rate structure and follow, the experts' game plans of what they're projecting, because they did a pretty nice study on it. I would think Mike would agree that, and it's all forecasted out what we should be doing year 1 to year 10 to 15. We just need to come up with the revenue to do that, and, we don't have it right now. The sewer department was just about broke.
Yeah.
The reserves were
Yep.
in the,
It was in the negative for
Yeah.
a couple months.
so, between the sludge hauling and all the operational expenses, electricity, chemicals, etc.,
that's-
it's a very expensive
The sludge is
department.
leveled out?
Yeah, it's kind of,
Yeah, it
That's
leveled
good.
out, it
Yeah.
leveled out, but it was leveled out at 16%
Yeah.
higher than it was.
yeah.
Right, so once we got
So,
up there and
yeah,
we
yeah.
put in the extra money to cover the increase.
It's not like the
But
health
it didn't
insurance where
just
it's
die.
continuing to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, right,
Uh,
right.
But yeah,
Okay,
it's
that's
just-
good.
Now, because your reserves are getting better in those enterprise funds, is there a certain number that you wanna keep in there as your own little stabilization for water and sewer, and say, okay, maybe 2 million's the cutoff, and then after that, maybe we'd be able to take some money out of those reserves to start doing some repairs?
Yeah,
It's
so,
like, there's gotta be a ceiling to the point where
Yeah.
how much money that you wanna keep in there, and say, we don't have the money, but we have things to fix.
yeah.
So is there, you know-
So I would think in today's times,
There's a-
we should have $2 million on hand for an emergency.
Okay.
And, anything above that, we need to start fixing our infrastructure.
Okay, so
Is
you got
that-
at least you got a ceiling of knowing what
Yeah.
you want,
Yeah.
what, to work just in case of a major emergency.
Yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
gonna keep on going, that's gonna keep on going up and up and up.
Right.
It's going to be, it's gonna be springtime. People are
Right.
gonna be mowing, watering their lawns during the
Right.
summertime, or they're not gonna be. So just wanted to know with that number that you're projecting, saying, okay, after this, we're getting good reserves, we can
Yeah.
now fixing stuff.
yeah, and then, to having a slush fund of, a couple $1 million, say $1.5, $2 million. Like that generator malfunction. We needed to come up with $500,000.
Keeps on going up.
Or,
Last
it
year
was like
330.
it was like 480, I think, or
Keeps on
something
going
around
up.
there
It
or
was
whatever.
330, now it's
But-
480.
But yeah, but regardless,
Wow.
Did we get it yet? Or is it still being built?
it was shipped. So
Good.
it's
All
in
right.
transit.
All right.
Of where? It's
China,
between here and there. Yeah.
Is it on a barge?
It was built in the US.
I was gonna say
It's
that.
built in the US,
Yeah, it's
okay.
built in
Rolling
the
in the
US, so
US.
it's on a,
Timo.
it's on a truck
Yeah,
somewhere,
No, that's-
trying to get here,
Scott, is
so,
that 2 million for both or each?
for both.
Yeah,
Or,
so
or for each, I'm sorry,
each
for
4
each,
million in
yeah.
total.
Uh,
Wow.
it'll be coming soon. I mean, we're going to get there in a second, but I'll just touch on it. The water department, you know, they just had their asset management, it's just about finished. I think me and Mike almost both fainted when we heard the number. They're talking, you need $200 million worth of repairs. Ladder, vertical and horizontal, water main replacement, etc. And they're ballparking that out as in they want you to try to do a minimum of $2 million of work a year. And then have 2 million in the bank for,
They said about 30 years. It's a
Yeah.
30-year. They'll set it up for us at 30 years worth of repairs, so you can spread it out. But with $200 million worth of repairs needed, it's $2 million. It's about $2 million a year.
and
And
then
when
sort
it
of,
says horizontal and vertical, does everybody know what that means?
No?
So horizontal is anything underground, vertical is anything above ground. So your plants and things that your you know, all your motors and all that stuff, and then everything else is the infrastructure underground.
and the sewer department had it done a year and a half or so ago, the report was done, and it's in the millions of dollars of infrastructure repairs with that also. Mostly, pump station stuff, mostly vertical. Most of the horizontal assets aren't too bad, but the vertical stuff is just from when it was built, the sewer system was built in the 60s or whatever. Nothing's been changed or upgraded.
So the horizontal's okay from what you know of as to.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
But, okay, so the vertical is the issue from exposure, just the elements and everything.
Yeah, you saw what I showed you.
Oh, I saw it,
Yeah.
I saw it all,
Is that,
the majority of it.
is that including like the $9 million tanks that we talked about?
No, that's just a total different capital project.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's in the 200 million though of, the water department's figures, you know, but that's part of that.
Oh.
It was on their report, the water tanks, but we're handling that, so it's kinda minused off, but it's there.
Oh.
Since we're talking about water and sewer and we're bringing it up again, will the chlorine ever go away?
No,
Okay, all right. Rather have an honest answer.
That's,
You know, if it's a no, at least they know what to expect.
that's minimals we have to meet from the state. The further you live away, you know, the closer you live to the water plant, the more chlorine you're gonna get, or however the system works, and, you know, I don't know, for whatever reason, I hear Cold Springs, or
Mhm, yeah.
has a lot of chlorine, but I don't believe that, cause it's too far out, but,
Yeah,
you know.
come to Middle Street.
Yeah.
Smell it on River.
You don't have to
I'm
put,
not
you don't have to put
complaining.
chlorine in your pool. Yeah, you smell
Yeah, I
it
smell
when
it.
you turn on a shower. You don't need to put
So
chlorine in the pool.
both these
Oh, yeah?
budgets,
No, I'm
that's
just
like
kidding. You need to put it in some,
roughly
but yeah, you can smell it.
14,
You can smell it?
15% increases over last year. You know, ballpark for water and sewer.
Well, the increase is, there was no increase, it was level funded.
But
Or-
proposed
or-
for 20,
It was down.
27, because I'm showing like a 105
I think-
increase.
I think what he's talking about, that
sewer.
we had held that budget back and it went in the negative, it went down. Oh, that's
Yeah.
actual devoted. Okay, I know that there's
446
just a number.
voted,
bottom number.
554 proposed.
Which one are you
I'm
on?
just choosing
51,
sewer.
are you on
Page
51?
Yeah, sewer,
Yeah.
yes. And the reason that it popped up like that, because they've been held back for a couple of years. this is showing for 25 actual, so it looks like an increase, but actually if you go to voted, we were voted higher than that for 25, and then for going into 26, it was brought down because we just didn't have any more funds, and so you can only hold back for so long.
So 1107 and 13, so yeah, it ends up like
Yeah.
15% roughly in 1 year.
And wages are obviously in that too, so.
And the same with the sewer, roughly, again, 15%.
A lot of what happens there are, I mean, you have to, there are requirements
Yeah.
for,
Yeah,
for
we-
water and sewer. It's
Yeah,
not-
we have to meet
unlike-
all sorts of,
Yeah, unlike with highway, when you can decide not to do the trees, there are things you can't make those similar calls in sewer and water. You have to meet the standards.
Gage has a question.
Would there be like grant funding for like big infrastructure you're talking about? Because like you said, like 200 million, like built in the 60s, you know, that's kind of
yeah, so,
like a long.
so like right now in water, for instance, they're focusing on PFAS. If you watch the news or whatever, you hear PFAS. If you had some PFAS here in the system or detected one of the wells, they would hand you a check to build a treatment plant to treat that. Like Mount Warner well right now, if PFAS was detected down there, you'd have equipment down there right now building you a water.
Yeah.
How do we put that in?
Same
Yeah,
thing.
just-
What is that? What am I getting?
Yeah, so.
Get it up there.
Yeah, yeah, so we don't have it,
Oops,
so
sorry.
there's really nothing out there, you know. There's other stuff for water plants for different chemicals or contaminants in the water. Our water here is pretty good quality, so there's not a
We're
lot
too good,
there.
right?
There's
Yeah,
nothing
you're
for
too
like
good.
infrastructure
Yeah.
replacement or anything like that?
I would think there has to be something.
No, because
For
there-
Boston, there would be.
Yeah, well, no, not really, because it's enterprise funded. There's not, I mean, there's stuff out there, you can get low interest loans or grants, try to get stuff from the USDA, et cetera. We try that, we've never been successful.
Is everybody's water and sewer enterprise funded?
Yes.
There's nothing that's covered totally by just straight tax base?
I believe most of the water and sources are enterprise or districts, and they're not anything to do with the towns anyway.
That's a good question.
It's a district.
Yeah, because isn't it, Mount Warner where we are getting our water at one point, wasn't that have issues?
It did have, but the contaminant moved through, and it's not detected
Or
anymore.
chlorine.
The chlorine's gone, yeah. So it just has, iron and manganese are at elevated levels, but there's no, funding right now for that. You know, the thing prior was, lead service lines. I'm sure everyone here got a nice postcard from us.
Mhm.
Please call us with your lead service line information. They had a big push on that, they still do, but the federal government pulled the funding on that, so everything we're doing right now on that, we have to pay for. The study and et cetera was done through a grant, but there's stuff that's out there that we have to take care of ourselves. There's no funding right now. It's one of those things, I guess, on the administration, what they want to, throw money at or what they don't.
Is that sewer or water?
Yeah, sewer.
Okay,
Water.
so I want to address what Paul was asking on the side over here. We voted for 25 budget, we voted 1,132,000.
Sewer?
Yep, 1,132,381 was the voted budget for 25. You're not gonna see it there, I've gone back, I have the budget books from prior
Oh,
years, so
okay.
that's what was
Mhm.
voted. So then for 26, we voted the 1,107, so
Mhm.
it was brought down $25,000. So if you're going to say what's the percentage increase,
Over
it
2
doesn't,
years.
I would do it over the 2 years.
Sure.
Because we had to, and also, when you look at 25, because I repeat, we report actuals, that's because he knew what was going on in reserves and he was pulling back, so he was sort of self-cut what was spent in 25, but there was but well, that's at about, what, 30,000 over the 2 years.
Yeah. water department, it's just, the reserves are better, just the budget's better, it's just, you know, for whatever reason, well, the water plant stuff, you know, it's a little newer. It doesn't have all the pump stations like the sewer, whatever, and it's just the system, I think, you know, the plant stuff is the plant, but, you know, pipeline and stuff is where our long-term goals would be. But operational wise, you know, we're doing what we can do with the money that's available. Obviously, we took a big hit in reserves buying the generator, etc. So, you know, in a perfect world, we would want more money to replace more fire hydrants and, you know, do more maintenance work to the system, whatever. But we're working within our means of what we have available.
I don't know if this is a silly question or not, but out of the water and sewer enterprises, are the employees underneath those departments, are they paid through the enterprise fund, or are the taxpayers paying for their salary and that's kind of like your reserves?
No, it's
So they're being paid through the enterprise funds? Okay,
Are, and their benefits too.
okay.
You know
I
what
just
the,
wanted
so
to know that.
all of the benefits show up in the budget, so you
Mhm.
don't have to, you don't look at like the health insurance and say, okay, then plus the enterprise, it doesn't work. It's all there, but then, you know that line called the enterprise chargebacks?
Nope.
It's
but you'll
part of
tell
the
me.
revenues, it's part of our revenues.
No, but you'll tell me.
Yeah, part of our revenues are
Indirect.
enterprise chargebacks,
Mhm.
and there's calculations onto what portion of the general fund expenditures should be attributed to the enterprise funds. So, if you wanna see in your revenue section of the book,
Page
which is one of
14.
the.
I didn't want to drag this out.
She's
I
on
was
it.
just asking
Oh,
a
no,
question.
no, this is, but it's important. Pam, you take it away.
Oh, no, she had
Oh,
it.
yeah, maybe,
Fourteen.
Yeah, so we have, okay, where's the full revenues? It's got its own section here. You say it's 14. That's,
Table
mine is
4,
low.
number 15, table 4.
14, 15,
Top of table
general.
15.
There it is, top of 15, enterprise receipts. It's part of our, if you wanna see all the receipts, it's on the, you turn the page and it's the full section there, of the different tables, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then each of those is explained more fully in the prior pages. So if you go back then to enterprise, sewer and water, those are the chargebacks that have been calculated. It's not just a portion of the, it's a portion of the health insurance, it's also a portion of the retirement funds that we spend
Yeah,
and,
that stuff.
Okay,
And it's
others.
water, sewer, and Hadley Media.
thank you.
But similarly, Paul, if you want to see what the percentage increase, if you go back to what was voted for 25 in water, it was 1,344,971. So we had to drop it because the reserves were going down for 26, and then, oh, I've lost my page then for 20. Aren't we just up about $30,000? Only really went up $30,000 in 2 years for that one. So we were sorely behind in water and sewer. And once we got the funding in, Scott came in and said, "Can I spend this?" I said, that's why it was voted in. So yes, now it's up to 1,371, so just about a little less than about $26,000, $27,000 increase over the 2 years. So yes, it's an increase, but it didn't go crazy, and there hopefully will be money to put aside into the reserve so that can grow, because it ought to really be up. It ought to be up higher, and if we are able to grow it, we will get closer to where it should be. I would think that the water you'd want up $1 million anyhow.
Yeah.
And the sewer, especially with what you're talking about. And when you have an emergency that costs $400,000, we'd be crazy to not have $1 million in there to spare, so.
Can you tell me how many people we have in our water department?
4,
4. And how many people in the sewer?
3.
3.
Aren't you budgeted for 4 in sewer?
We're budgeted for 4 in the sewer.
Are you
So,
gonna, that's the one you're going to 4?
Yeah, I guess, yes. Yeah,
So you have 3 and you're going to 4?
yeah.
And both of these, when I see the professional salaries and the admin salaries,
Yep.
is that 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 when we do it? Like
So-
1/3 highway, 1/3?
So I'm 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell you the wrong information. I have it
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll look at
Uh,
mine too.
The one admin is going to be 90% enterprise funded and 10% out of the highway, and the other admin is a third, and a third.
When you say 90%, it's 45% out of each enterprise.
Correct.
So 45, 45, 10.
Okay.
And the foreman that is currently resigned, he gets a percentage out of the enterprise also. 20.
Which is the position that is budgeted for, that
Yep.
he wants to unfreeze
He-
at the next meeting.
You said 20%?
Yeah, 20 sewer, 30 water, and then the other is 50% is the highway.
Is that under would that be under professional with you?
Professional with me,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Thanks. I count how many employees, and I had one point, I asked someone around how many employees do we have for the town? And someone was saying we had about 400 employees. I'm like, whoa, and I know, like, they said 100 of them would be people like, that would be temporary, so 100 employees were listed as, you know, they could be, on-call firefighters, or maybe it's a coach, because this includes the schools.
Okay.
And maybe it's a coach for a season or something.
Someone
But-
goes to count at the polls.
or yeah,
Twice a year.
yeah, or something like that. So, but then it said 300, so then I'm counting and it's about 300, and I'm thinking, okay, well then 100 of them, it just feels like that's a lot, and especially when you're only telling me we got 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, how did he get 300? I'm not really sure yet,
yeah.
but I'm
Be nice
asking,
if
I'm
somebody
like,
could- It'd be nice if somebody could come up with a calculation other than the whole FTE thing, so that you could kind of put some folks to the side and not, you know, like it's a
Yeah.
registrar that works
Right.
2 hours a year.
yeah.
Like, why are we, you know, and then you
Sometimes-
say a number like that. and
Well, they
people go,
say it, and I'm like, what? You
When
have
she
to
said that, I'm like,
count
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
300 people?
Yeah.
Go to the town report, and it just goes on for pages and pages, and it's like, who are these people?
Yeah,
Because they're counting W-2s,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
people are coming and going.
Well, that was,
You got
like I said,
recreation people, whatever, working in the summer.
it was first over 400, and then they said, okay, well, it's over 400, but no, 110 was the temporary section. So I'm like, that still leaves quite a bit, and I'm like, wow, it's still, now it could be part-time, not necessarily
Yeah.
temporary. I'm like, still, wow. Because that's why I've just been asking how many
Yeah.
people are, where they are, because I don't know who everybody is in, like, the highway department. Okay.
So in a nutshell, your enterprise funds are getting there, you're getting close to the numbers that you wanted to for your comfort number. The biggest thing is on page 38, which is all those zeros on the right-hand side. The helping the town that need to be, like the testing, the maintenance and service on the ditches and the dikes. And so you said that number was about, because we're in the red for 125, and that's not even including anything that you've taken out, so you're saying about 500.
Yeah.
Give or take
Yeah.
about a number.
Yeah. Okay. and that would get us to do some, you know,
You might mow the lawn once or twice.
yeah, maybe.
Right,
well,
okay.
once
Maybe
or-
throw a few lines on the road so you can follow it.
No. Spray paint,
Yeah, and
spray
then-
bombs, right?
And that's the thing, you're supposed to put like so much local dollars into the roads and whatever, and not solely rely on the chapter 90, because if you're not meeting certain criteria with them, they can, if they wanted to, pull some of your chapter 90 funding back. It's,
Is there a certain percentage that we're getting from chapter 90?
yeah, it's all by road miles.
Okay.
So
And we have 64?
Good question.
64, whatever, plus the dirts.
Got it.
But yeah, but like I said, you know, we're supposed to be doing some work on our own outside of chapter 90.
Right.
Which is
Similar to the levy situation, you have
Yeah.
to show
Right,
some type of work product.
right.
which for, I don't know, every community, it's getting harder and harder and harder to do that. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very informative, thank you very
Yeah,
much. Scott.
great job,
Thank you.
All right.
educational.
All right, well, thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
You took up all the time. See, we're all good.
See, we just,
You had Linda's
we just
off the
carry,
hook.
yeah, everyone has to
we
go
just
home
keep
now.
carrying it over. I
Time
wanna
to
make
go
sure you
hang
have
out.
enough to do. If we get here and departments don't show up, then it's like, okay, time to do Linda.
Yeah,
And
better hang on to
finance.
those.
Yep. I'll just keep carrying it over. Next time with the 500s and 600s, I believe.
Which departments are we meeting with next?
I don't have that
The
up.
500s and 600s, which are the, what do you call it, the human
Human
services and the,
Park
what
and
do we
Rec.
call them, recreational, what do we call them?
Healthcare recreation.
There we go. So, yep.
And that's when?
But
day is
next,
that?
That's
next
the day.
Thursday.
That's not till
That's
next
next
Starts
Thursday.
tomorrow?
Oh, wow, I
We have a whole week off.
You get a
Yeah.
whole week.
And in,
And we canceled Monday too.
We
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Oh
We
my
need to
gosh.
Close the meeting.
what a week.
Okay,
I make a motion to close the meeting?
I second that.
all right, all in favor? Aye.